Ready when you are. What's the first
My
question?
name is Anaya, and our foundation never started as good. So today I will ask some questions from Maya on the topic of the word whatever. So let's start. So hi Maya, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm excited to dive into whatever with you. What's first on your
First
list?
question from you is what does the whatever word really mean?
At its core, whatever is the ultimate at its core.
Continue.
It's no problem. I'm ready for
Okay,
the
so
next
I
one
said
whenever you
what
are.
does the word whatever really
I'm
mean?
with you. To put it simply, whatever is like a linguistic wild card. It can be a way to show you're flexible and don't mind either option, or it can be a total conversation stopper that signals you've just checked out of the argument. It really all depends on the tone.
Okay, so my next question from you is what do people say whatever during arguments?
In an argument, whatever is usually a defensive wall. It's a way of ending the discussion without actually resolving anything. It basically says, I'm done talking about this, or your point doesn't matter enough for me to keep arguing. It can be really frustrating because it shuts the other person out. Do you think it's more of a shield or a weapon in those moments? Whenever you're ready to keep going.
Okay, so my next question from you is can indifference ever be a good thing?
Surprisingly, yes. In some cases, it can be a way to protect your peace. When you stop letting things that you can't control get under your skin, it's less like being cold and more like choosing where to spend your emotional energy. It's that feeling of, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. Does that feel like a healthy boundary or more like just checking out?
So my first question from you, the next question from you is what is the difference between being calm and being indifferent?
That's a great distinction to make. Being calm is an active choice to stay centered even when things are chaotic. You're still present and engaged, just not overwhelmed. Indifference, though, is more about a lack of interest or concern. It's not that you're managing the emotion, it's that the emotion isn't there. One is about balance and the other is about detachment.
Okay, so my next question from you is why do some people stop caring about things? Maya, my next question from you is why do some people stop caring about things?
It usually comes down to a survival mechanism. Sometimes it's a way to handle burnout or a response to being disappointed too many times. It's like the mind's way of saying, I can't take another hit, so I'm just going to stop feeling this. Other times it's a natural shift in priorities as people grow. Do you think it's usually a sad thing or can it be a way of moving on?
I think it's a sad thing. So my next question from you is can too much indifference affect relationships?
It can be pretty devastating. In most relationships, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. When one person stops caring or starts responding with whatever, it erodes the trust and intimacy because the other person feels invisible. It's like the connection slowly fades away. Do you think a relationship can actually survive that kind of detachment, or is it usually the beginning of the end?
I don't know. So I'll ask the next question. So is saying whatever a way of avoiding problems?
Absolutely. It's basically the ultimate escape hatch. Instead of doing the hard work of addressing a conflict or admitting a mistake, whatever just closes the door on the whole conversation. It allows someone to avoid the discomfort of a real resolution by pretending the problem just doesn't matter. Do you think that makes it a cowardly move or just a way to survive a stressful moment?
Okay, so my next question from you is can why do teenagers often use the word whatever? Maya, what emotions? Why do teenagers often use the word whatever?
It's kind of the perfect tool for that stage of life. Teenagers are dealing with a massive shift in identity and a lot of intense emotions, and whatever gives them a sense of control. It's a way to push back against authority or hide vulnerability without having to actually explain why they're upset. It's basically a linguistic shield. Do you think it's more about trying to be independent or just not having the words for how they feel?
Okay, so my next question from you is can emotions what emotions can hide behind indifference?
Still with me? I'm ready for the next one whenever you are.
I said why what emotions can hide behind indifference?
A lot more than you'd think. Usually, indifference is just a mask. Behind it, you might find deep hurt, fear of rejection, or even a total sense of overwhelm where the person just shuts down to avoid feeling too much. It's rarely actually nothing, it's more like too much pushed underground. Do you think people do that because they're afraid to be vulnerable or because they don't think anyone
My
will
next
actually
question
listen?
from you is what how does indifference affect relationships?
We actually touched on that a bit
Okay, okay,
earlier,
okay. So
but let's look at it from a different
I will
angle.
ask the next
Beyond the
question.
trust breaking down,
So
it
what are the signs of an indifferent person?
you can usually spot it in the gaps of the conversation. It's often a lack of eye contact, short one-word answers, the classic whatever or I don't care, and a general sense of emotional distance. They're physically there, but it's like they've checked out mentally. Do you think someone can fake being indifferent or is it always obvious?
Okay, so my
Oh,
next
definitely.
next question
Some
from
people
you is can indifference lead to missed opportunities?
Oh, absolutely. When you're indifferent, you stop looking for the yeses in life. You might breeze past a great job offer or a new friendship because you've convinced yourself it doesn't matter. It's like walking through a gallery with your eyes closed. You're there, but you're missing the art. Do you think it's a risk people take willingly, or do they just not realize what they're missing until it's gone?
Okay, so my next question from you is indifference the same as laziness?
Not at all. Laziness is about not wanting to put in the effort, but indifference is about not seeing the value or the point in doing it. One is a lack of energy, the other is a lack of care. Does that make sense, or do they feel like the same thing to you?
Okay, so my next question from you is can indifferent why do some people become indifferent after failure?
That's a really common reaction. It's usually a protective wall. After a big failure, the pain of trying and failing again can feel too high, so the mind switches to indifference as a way to avoid more hurt. It's basically saying, if I don't care, it can't hurt me. Do you think that's a way to heal, or does it just keep people stuck?
Okay, so my next question from you is it possible to care too much? Maya, my next.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
When you care too much, it can start to feel like you're everyone else's weight on your shoulders. You can end up exhausted because you're absorbing every single emotion and problem around you. It's that point where empathy turns into burnout. Do you feel like you're naturally someone who cares a lot, or do you prefer to keep a bit of distance?
Okay, so my next question from you is how does indifference affect mental health?
It's a double edged sword. In the short term, it can feel like a relief, a way to numb the pain or stop the stress. But long term, it can lead to a deep sense of loneliness or even depression because you're not just blocking out the bad stuff, you're blocking out the joy and connection too. It's like living life in grayscale. Do you think that trade off is worth it for some people?
Okay, so my next question from you is can indifference help in difficult situations?
In a pinch, yeah. It can be like a mental buffer. If you're in a high stress environment where everything is falling apart, being a bit indifferent allows you to stay objective and make decisions based on logic rather than panic. It's almost like a professional detachment. Do you think that's a useful skill to have, or does it make a person seem cold?
Okay, so my next question from you is can indifference help in difficult situations?
We just talked about this one. But since you're recording, I'll give you a slightly different take.
Okay,
It's basically like
so
having an
I
emotional
will ask
shock.
the next question. Can making can indifference make decision making easier?
It definitely can. When you're not emotionally tied to the outcome, you can just look at the facts and pick the most logical path without all the anxiety of what if this goes wrong? It strips away the noise. But do you think a decision made without any passion or care is actually a good one or just a fast one?
Okay, so my next question from you is what causes emotional numbness?
That's a big, complex question. It's usually not just one thing, but a combination of genetics, your environment, and the life experiences you've had. Things like long term stress, trauma, or even just a lack of support from the people around you can put a huge strain on your mental health. Do you think our society makes it harder for people to deal with these things, or are we getting better at talking about it?
Okay, so my next question from you is indifference always a choice?
Not always. Sometimes it's a conscious decision to protect yourself, but other times it's an involuntary response, like burnout or severe depression, where the brain just switches off the emotions to keep you from collapsing. In those cases, it's less of a choice and more of a survival mode. Do you think most people realize when they've slipped into that, or do they just think they're becoming chill? I'll be right here for whatever you've got next. I'm ready.
Okay, so
Whenever you want to drop the next question, I'm
okay, my next question from you
whenever you're ready
is
to keep going.
how does indifference affect family relationships?
I'm ready painful. In family, where there's usually an expectation of unconditional love and support, indifference can feel like a betrayal. It's a specific kind of silence that tells someone they don't matter to the people who are supposed to matter most. Do you think family members are more likely to try and break through that wall, or do they eventually just give up?
Okay, so my last question from you is what does whatever teach us about human emotions and behavior?
It teaches us that humans have a really complex way of protecting themselves. It shows that something as simple as one word can be a shield, a weapon, or a way to find peace. It reveals that we often use language to hide the things we're too afraid to say out loud, and that sometimes whatever is just a placeholder for an emotion that's too big to handle. It's a window into how we balance our need for connection with our need for self preservation. Does that feel like a good way to wrap up the session?
Yes, perfect. So, viewers, this was my talk with Maya on the phrase the word whatever, a journey through indifference. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. So, let's meet in another video with talk with Maya. So, till then, Allah Hafiz, Pakistan, Zindabad.